Hi everyone, I'm Ishan Sharma, and in this video we are reacting to this another video titled IIT Professors Advice to First Year Students. Let's see if this advice is really true, if this really works or not. I know a lot of people who pay a lot of heed to professors who have a lot of experience, they have wisdom to share, but let's see if this advice really works out or not from my own perspective. Let's get started with this video. Make sure that you hit the like button and subscribe to this channel as well, and let's get into this one.
Hello everyone. In a few weeks from now, a new batch of students is going to enter their first year here at IIT Kharagpur. Similarly, across various institutes of India, students have already either joined or are about to join various engineering streams as well as science streams. So I thought this would be a good time for me to share some of my experiences, give some pointers, dispel certain misconceptions that students invariably have at this stage. I know I did back when I was a student about to enter my first year here at IIT Kharagpur, and I wish at that stage somebody would sit down with me and help to clear some of my doubts. Now that I have gained certain experiences as an engineering student, first myself and then as a faculty member over the past few years, I think I'm in a good position to share some of my experiences, and I think some of you will find it useful. And actually, I got the idea of making this video after seeing the wonderful response of so many students to the video that I had made as a reaction to the speaks. So if you look at the comment section, so there are a number of students about to join their first year who have written to me. So I think they'll definitely find it useful. All right. So number one point on the academic side. So the number one misconception which students invariably have is that they're going to join first year and then they're going to start learning subjects. This is not going to happen. Okay. In the semester system, you do not learn subjects. Okay. You learn courses. There's a difference between the two. So what do you do in courses? Well, in a course, what you do is to actually study the exact sequence of topics which your professors have selected for you. They've already done this job by scrutinizing the various books and selecting and extracting only the parts which are immediately relevant for you, which are important for your professional career, as well as to prepare you for your higher studies. So trust them and follow the course material which have been prepared by them. This does not mean that you should not try to learn the subject, but that will come a little bit later. Very relevant to this point is that many students think that they are going to learn a course by studying from a book. This is absolutely wrong. Okay, please do not try to study from books on your own. Rather, the trick is that from the sequence of topics which your professor has given to you and from the way that he or she is teaching to you, you first try to learn what he or she is teaching, and then only after you have gone through those parts, you go back to your book and try to study the relevant parts from that. That is the way to study. Otherwise, you see, in a semester system, you barely have 100 days or so. And I'm also including the Saturdays and Sundays here. So in these 100 days, it is simply not possible to study from books. I'll show you something. This semester, I'm teaching mechanics of solids. Of course, this is not a first year subject. This is a second year subject, but things are more or less the same. Let me show you the books. Okay. So this is one book. This is another book, and this is another book. And now you cannot see my face. So you really think you can go through all these books? Because we give maybe one or two textbooks and then give others as reference materials. You simply cannot go through all of them. It is humanly not possible. So study only the relevant parts from the books. Next, grades. So don't let anyone mislead you into thinking that grades are not important. I know in engineering colleges especially, some of the seniors have this habit of telling their juniors that grades are not that important. It is completely wrong.
It is actually true from my perspective as well. I think that grades particularly depend on what you want to do exactly. When I was in first year, I tried my best to study as much as possible and focus on extracurricular activities and focus on learning to code, which meant that I got a CGPA of about 6, which is not great at all. But I feel that I don't regret that decision because I got to learn a lot of different things in the time that I did spend on my extracurricular activities, on learning to code, learning about social media. So again, if you want to become the top 10 CGPA guy, then obviously it's important. But if you want to explore and, become a well-rounded person, have different experiences in college, then grades are okay. It's good to have good grades. But I think beyond a certain point of, let's just say you have about 8 CGPA, Beyond that, I think you're really harming the other aspects of life that you can experience when you're in college. That's just my own perspective. What do you think? Let me know about that in the comment section as well. But I completely understand the perspective of the professor who is talking about this. Grades are great and are important if you want to do further studies as well, right? So in that situation, these grades come in handy a lot, especially if you want to change your branch. When I was in first year, I thought ki I will change my branch by getting a 10 CGPA, and I could not be further away from the truth, which was that it is very hard to score good. I would have to put all of my time into it, at least in BITS Pilani and BITS Goa campuses. I thought it is much better for me to spend that time into upskilling myself, into learning new things outside of my syllabus. That's just what my perspective is.
Do not believe them. Okay, higher grade is always better. However, I'll also say that do not fall into the rat race of just mindlessly chasing higher grades. Okay, that is kind of unhealthy. Try to maintain a respectable grade point average, and you must also understand that in reality, some things may always go sideways. Okay, they'll invariably go sideways in a particular semester. So if as a result your grade point average decreases a little bit, it does not mean the end of the world. Okay, please do not think like that. So this directly ties into the next advice that I'll give to you, is that be a little bit pragmatic in your approach. Okay, what I mean by that is that suppose in a certain semester or in a certain subject, certain things have gone sideways. Sideways means something bad has happened. Okay, maybe one test or assignment has gone bad. This does not mean that you just give up. I have seen many students do this. Okay, something goes wrong and then they just give up. This is just foolish. What you need to do if something does go wrong is to just pick up the pieces and try to do damage control. Accept the fact that something has gone wrong. Okay, be an adult about it. Accept that something has gone wrong and try to fix it. Try to do some damage control. Okay, if you just give up, it will go from bad to worse, and that bad thing in one subject is going to start affecting your other subjects, and then everything will go bad in that semester. Okay, and you will become extremely sad. So it's a disaster. Don't let that happen. Do something.
That is true. Actually, when I was in my second semester and then when I was in my third year first semester, I was doing very poorly in one of the courses. So I got in touch with the professor, spent some time with them. When I failed in one of the electrical engineering courses, I retook that examination and passed that one successfully. So I think it's not healthy for you to give up and feel sad about things. You should be pragmatic and practical, as professor is saying. So I completely agree with that.
Some damage control. All right. Next point is regarding projects. So I've seen that many first year students, they're like a bundle of energy, and they try to start doing some projects, some academic projects, try to approach some professors. This is not the right approach. This is not the right approach because when you have not even completed your first year, you barely know the subjects. Okay, so the way that we follow in most of the IITs, in all the IITs rather, is that the first year curriculum is common. Okay, you only get to start learning the departmental subjects properly in the second year. So unless you have gone to the second year, studied the third semester courses, up to that point, you are not well prepared to take up a proper academic project. So have a little patience until that time comes. Okay.
I agree with him. You know, when I was in first year, I just used to email the HOD of computer science saying that, hey, I want to work on this project, that project, can you help me out with something? And she used to reply back by saying, hey, you're just in first year of college, relax, experience everything, and you can do the projects later on as well. And I agree with that.
The first year is not the right time for you to take up a project. Okay, there's a special tip for IITians here. You see, all of you, and this is common knowledge, but I think I'll be remiss if I don't say this. All of you have been kind of academic stars of your particular batches. Maybe it is in school, in college, in your coaching center, whatever. You have been kind of academic stars. This is going to end once you enter the IITs. You are no longer going to be the stars because it's a common sense thing, right? So all the academic stars have joined together. So everyone is a star. You are nothing special. Okay, I know it can be kind of, sad to think about it, but this is the truth. And it's a great privilege that you get to have as your peers. So gifted students, so capable students. So don't take it as a negative, rather take it as a positive.
You know, I recently, not recently, I think 2 years back, I posted this LinkedIn post saying that IITians literally have one accomplishment that they had in their IIT JEE rank, and they use it for the entirety of their career. When they are applying for a job, they always have that at the first point, oh, I'm IIT, JEE, AIR, this is this rank, as if they have never accomplished anything after that first accomplishment in their IIT JEE exam. And that one had a pretty crazy response from everyone out there on LinkedIn, got a crazy reach. But I think it's really important for you to let go of that thing that you accomplish, of that milestone that you have, and then move forward and focus on what can you do new, what's new that you can achieve, right? What's a new mountain that you can climb, and not just stay focused on the achievement that you've already had. I think that's really important. And that is what I tried to convey with that LinkedIn post, and I agree with Professor.
But I assure you this, after all, we are all human flesh and blood, you will feel sad a little bit, okay, that you no longer have that special status which you had earlier in school. Okay, but please try to let not that affect you. Next is regarding various societies or student groups. I've seen that many students, they mindlessly chase after this goal of joining various societies or student groups. This is not correct. Okay, it is absolutely necessary for you to do some activity in your engineering or science which is not fetching you marks. It is important to do such kind of activity. But at the same time, if you try to join this, you try to join that also, you are going to spread yourself too thin. You have only a finite amount of time in your hand, finite amount of energy also. So you should not be spreading yourself too thin, such that the work that you are doing, both in your curricular activities as well as in your co-curricular activities, okay, they get affected in quality.
I personally think that it is important for you to join as many clubs as possible when you're just getting into your college. Like I did, I was a part of I think 6 to 7 clubs when I was in first semester, but I quickly focused on the few that I found valuable, right? And आप जब तक try नहीं करोगे सारी चीजों को, how would you know कि अच्छा मुझे ये पसंद है और ये पसंद नहीं आ रहा है, right? But I think it's fine to do that in the initial phases when you are in first semester, so that you can get an experience of everything, right? आप सब कुछ taste कर लेते हो कि अच्छा मेरे को I loved this Enactus वाला group, I did not love this IEEE वाला group, I loved this Developer Society वाला group, I loved this sponsorships and marketing वाला group, right? So when you experiment, that's when you will know कि अच्छा मुझे इसमें interest है, so that you can spend more time onto it. मैंने भी starting में 6 club थे, but at the end I only had 2 to 3 clubs that I was a part of, and I left the other ones very quickly. I think about 2 months in, when I was in college, I left all of those other clubs. I was just focusing on 2 clubs that I was a part of. So I think this approach is much better than just having this blindfold approach of I will not join a lot of clubs at the starting itself, right? You should try and then leave the ones that you don't like and focus on the ones that you find interesting and focus on your academics at the same point as well.
So more than the quantity and the variety of things that you do, try to be really, really good, excellent in whatever little you do. That will carry far more weight.
This is true when you advance in your career, right? I think this is called as the pie-shaped learning. Like you should have some knowledge about pretty much everything, but you should have expertise in 1 or 2 things, right? So it becomes a pie symbol.
Okay. Another important thing is that you should not be shy to ask for help. Now, when I was in my first year, I was extremely introverted. Okay. I'm still introverted. I've just learned how to fake it a little bit now. So there's that. But you absolutely need to ask for help when you need help. Okay, so next point is on the social side, and this is very, very important. Okay, please don't close the video just because I've stopped talking about the academic and the student group side of things. This is important. On the social side, okay, you have to start making friends. I mean, seriously good friends. Now, when I say like this, please don't think of it like some kind of a business arrangement. Okay, that is not going to work, of course. At the same time, you will never be able to have good friends if you're not proactive about it. You have to seek out friends. And
this is important. You know, when I was in first semester, I just used to sit beside new people every single time in my lecture halls. I would just ask them, hey, what's your name? What are you doing right now? What are your interests while the lecture was going on or after the lecture? And then I would just ask, hey, are you into badminton like I am? If they say yes, then I would go on for a badminton match with them. And that is how I would be able to make a bond with people and make more friends, right? So focus on doing activities together so that there can be a memory and you can build a strong bond and start that friendship when you are in college early on. And I think, again, what he said, you should not be, introverted. You should ask for help as much as possible. That's also very much important. I used to think that लोग क्या कहेंगे अगर मैं ये question पूछूंगा तो, या फिर if I approach that one senior मुझसे गुस्सा तो नहीं हो जाएंगे or something like that. Nothing like that actually matters. Just go out there and ask people whatever questions you have, whatever doubts you might have, and you would be surprised to see how many people are kind enough, are happy enough to share whatever learnings that they have had to help you out in your situation when you are in college.
Let me tell you this. It is good to have the kind of friends who you like to hang out with, but at the same time, you also need to have friends from whom you can learn something. Okay, it is not only just the professors from whom you are going to learn, rather you are also going to learn a lot. In fact, a lot of the things from your peers, from your seniors. So try to make some very good friends. There's a very special point I would like to mention here, is that when you are making these kinds of friends, try to make friends from different kinds of circles. Okay, so that your mind and your development by connection with those friends is not just one-dimensional. Okay, maybe have some friends who are good in sports, maybe have some friends who are good on the cultural side of it.
This is very important, So I had a friend who was a part of the drama club. I had one friend who was into aviation. So every single morning, me and him, we used to go out and we used to watch planes fly by. And he would tell me more about how planes operate, how does everything work, which plane model was that, and how are these models named and all. So that was really insightful. I also had one friend who was into robotics. So he would tell me all about how that works. And then I had some more friends. So I think it's definitely much better to have breadth in the experiences your friends have, so that you can learn from them and you can just have varied experiences when you have different friends with you.
Things maybe they know how about music, about various cultural things. Maybe they're good in writing or reading. Maybe you'll pick up some things from them. Maybe someone is very good in electronics kind of things or in programming. Even if you don't engage in those activities yourself, you'll definitely learn some things from them. That's a valuable thing. Okay, so everything need not come into your CV. Okay, there are certain soft things which you need to pick up also. Another thing is that you also need to have some very, very special friends. Okay, special friends means like more than best friend, I would say.
Special friend, huh?
Let me give you a small example here from my own life. When I was an undergraduate student, once, I just fell ill. Okay, and fell ill like it was like a sudden illness. Once I got up in the morning and then I just couldn't raise my head from the bed. So what I did was I just called up my friend who was in another hostel actually. Because mind you, this was winter. There was practically no one in my own hostel. And so I just called up this friend who was in another hostel some distance away. This was very, very early in the morning in the winter. I just called him, please come. Without a single question asked, he got up and came in that morning. He didn't even ask what happened, what do you need, nothing. He just heard me saying that please come, he just came. That's it. And then he took me to the hospital, helped me out. So that's that. Okay, so you need to have that kind of special friends who can answer to your phone call at 4 a.m. without any questions.
That is so true. I had my roommate who was similar type of a special friend that I could reach out to whenever I wanted. I also had 2 other friends who could help me at whatever hour I wanted help from them. So I think you should definitely have those type of friends as well, with whom you share a special bond and who are having a deeper friendship with you, right? That is really important.
All right. So I'm almost at the end of my of this little advice piece. Finally, I'd like to just point out one very important thing. So I've started our discussions from point number 1, but since both thermodynamics and the Python programming language are important to engineering and science, as a mark of respect to both thermodynamics and Python, I will put this as number 0, and that is your health. None of the things that I have mentioned earlier is going to be of any use or any applicability to you if you do not maintain your health. Okay, I am no health expert myself, but I will tell you this, that you should eat properly and try to sleep properly. At least, even if you're having nothing special food, we all know what hostel food is, but try to eat regular hours. Okay, that will, automatically take care of a lot of things if you eat regularly, even if nothing great food you're eating. And I know that engineering students and science students, they will invariably sleep at unearthly hours. Me advising you against that is not going to change anything. You will end up doing those things. But still, if possible, whatever weird hours you sleep, try to be regular even in that. So your body will have a certain mechanism in which.
This is so true. I think when I was in first year of college, I was just not focusing on health enough. I think this is one of the regrets I also have. I talked about that in a previous video as well. And I wish I had focused more on my health. I would have gone to the gym. I would have eaten healthier, right? So later on, when I was in second year, I used to get bananas for myself. I used to get fresh fruits from the shops so that I could eat healthier, right? But I think this is a great video. I agree with most of the points. Few points I have a different perspective on, but I share that with you. Let me know what do you think about all of these things in the comment section as well. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure that you hit the like button and subscribe. This video link would be in the description. If you wanted to check that out, you can check that in the description. Thanks a lot. I will see you all in the next video. Thank you so much. You can follow me on Instagram and I'll see you in the next one.